We later found that the Bugatti, it was impossible to buy parts directly from them.
On that chassis number of vehicle, they will not supply any component through a Bugatti dealership.
When a British mechanic with a wrench and a YouTube channel ruffles the feathers of the world's most exclusive car brands, the fallout is already big. But when Donald Trump himself mentions Mat Armstrong, the stakes skyrocket beyond anything the automotive scene has ever seen. Why would a president care about someone rebuilding crashed supercars? And what does that mean for the giants like Ferrari and Bugatti that have long ruled the industry with ironclad control over repairs and exclusivity? This is the story of how one man's defiance is shaking the foundations of automotive power. Mat Armstrong's unlikely rise. Mat Armstrong didn't start life with a wrench in his hand or a workshop at his back. In fact, his beginnings were rooted in high-speed danger, not on 4 wheels, but 2. As a professional BMX rider, Mat chased adrenaline with every jump and stunt, thriving in a world where precision and guts were the only things between success and serious injury. That need for control in chaos would become a defining trait in his later career, though no one expected the shift from bike tracks to supercar garages. A dislocated shoulder during the 2013 BMX World Championships forced Mat to reconsider his path. While many might have stopped at injury, Mat channeled his focus into something familiar but different: cars. He started shooting BMX videos for YouTube, sharing the thrill and precision of the sport with fans. Slowly, though, his passion for petrol and engines took center stage, and the garage began to replace the bike track as his playground. His transformation wasn't overnight. Early on, Mat bought a crashed car and attempted to bring it back to life. That modest project became his introduction to the complex world of automotive restoration and the beginning of a journey few outside elite mechanics dared to undertake. His videos combined technical skill with a relatable, can-do attitude that steadily built an audience hungry for something raw and authentic. What set Mat apart was his refusal to bow to traditional norms. When big automotive brands carefully guarded their parts, secrets, and repair protocols, Mat treated cars as challenges to be cracked, not untouchable artifacts. His approach appealed to millions. By 2025, over 2 million subscribers followed his channel, watching a working-class outsider challenge luxury automotive hierarchies built on scarcity and control. His reputation as a rogue mechanic who rebuilt dead cars grew. He wasn't just restoring machines, he was breaking down the walls built by exclusivity and cost inflation. Mat's projects included everything from Audi and Maserati to Mercedes-Benz, but it was his move into hypercars that truly captured attention. His work threatened to upend a carefully maintained ecosystem where repair meant dependence on factory-authorized service centers. Behind the scenes, news of Mat's daring rebuilds traveled far beyond YouTube. Powerful figures in the automotive industry took notice. Bugatti's CEO Mat Armstrong and Ferrari executives were watching as Mat turned their sacred horses into open books for all to see. And then, something unexpected happened. Even political heavyweights became intrigued by this garage-born dynamo, signaling how far Mat's influence had stretched. Yet, despite the growing fame, Mat remained fiercely independent. Licensing agreements with major manufacturers were off the table because such loyalty would force him to conform, to abandon his improvisational Frankenstein rebuilds and follow strict factory rules. His freedom to innovate, to mix parts and methods, was his trademark and his challenge to the industry's status quo. Mat Armstrong's rise wasn't just a story of YouTube success. It was the birth of a movement, a rebellion against the high walls and sky-high costs surrounding the world's most coveted cars. But the real test was yet to come when he stepped into the lion's den, facing the giants of Bugatti and Ferrari head-on. His next moves would shake the foundations of the ultra-luxury automotive world. No challenge was greater than taking on the very brands that had built their power on limited access and controlling exclusivity. The challenge to Bugatti and Ferrari. Bugatti and Ferrari have long ruled the hypercar realm with an iron grip. These names aren't just about speed or technology. They are symbols of exclusivity, scarcity, and a tightly controlled marketplace. Ownership comes with strict rules, especially about repairs and parts. These brands claimed that only their authorized dealers had the knowledge, tools, and permission to maintain these machines, creating a monopoly that kept prices astronomical and access limited. Mat Armstrong challenged this unwritten contract. By rebuilding cars that were declared total losses or denied parts, he struck at the heart of their authority. His high-profile work on hypercars was more than a mechanic's project. It was a direct challenge to a system designed to keep independent workshops out. Bugatti's refusal to sell him parts for the Chiron Pur Sport and Ferrari's strict restriction on aftermarket repairs showed how seriously this disruption was taken. Mat didn't just attempt repairs, he reimagined them. His approach was unconventional, often assembling Frankenstein, builds mixing components from various brands and aftermarket sources. While this audacity made some purists uncomfortable, it also exposed how much of these expensive cars' mystique was tied to brand control rather than irreplaceable engineering. His success in making these hybrids work questioned the logic of brand loyalty and factory exclusivity. The backlash was immediate. Bugatti famously blacklisted Mat's car, locking its vehicle identification number to prevent any authorized sales of parts. Ferrari held firm on limiting access to key components, making it clear that freedom to repair came with high barriers. Yet, Mat's growing audience and media attention made silence impossible. He transformed from a niche figure into the face of a wider right-to-repair debate within automotive circles. Beyond parts control, Mat's work revealed the staggering repair costs manufacturers demanded for their elite vehicles, numbers that bordered on extortion. Quotes running into millions, like the $2 million repair estimate for a Bugatti, were designed not only to recoup costs, but to discourage independent fixes altogether. Mat's ability to find alternative solutions, including 3D printing parts or sourcing components from other brands, disrupted the accepted norms of hypercar maintenance. Despite the industry's resistance, some insiders saw potential in Mat's approach. Using him as a less costly rebuilding option became a whispered possibility, putting additional pressure on the old guard. Meanwhile, manufacturers watched warily as Mat's influence spread, forced to rethink how they dealt with a global community now empowered to question everything from pricing to repair protocols. Mat's challenge wasn't purely technical. It threatened a business model built on scarcity and control. The fight wasn't just about cars. It was about who gets to decide the fate of these mechanical masterpieces. In challenging the brand's grip, Mat became a symbol of defiance for an entire generation of gearheads and enthusiasts. As Mat's struggle intensified, the real test arrived with the Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, an exercise in pushing boundaries that would force the manufacturers themselves to confront the growing power of independent rebuilders. The viral Bugatti Chiron rebuild. When Mat Armstrong accepted the challenge to rebuild a crashed Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, he knew he was stepping into the biggest automotive fight of his career. This wasn't just any car, it was a nearly $5 million hypercar, one of only 60 made, and a symbol of untouchable luxury. The project carried enormous risks, technical complexity, factory opposition, and a media spotlight that could make or break his reputation. Bugatti made it clear from the start that independent repair was verboten. They refused to sell Mat many replacement parts, enforcing a strict monopoly on repairs. The car's owner, influencer Alex Gonzalez, had already faced a massive repair estimate close to $2 million from the factory, who insisted work be done solely in Molsheim by authorized technicians. This underlined the stakes and the barriers Mat was up against. Undaunted, Mat documented every step of the dismantling and rebuilding process, sharing setbacks and triumphs alike. When he declared he would split the car's chassis, something Bugatti claimed only 2 facilities worldwide could safely do, the eyes of the automotive world were glued to his channel. His makeshift use of a plastic trash bin and a 2-post lift to separate the beast was seen as reckless or brilliant, depending on who watched. As the car came apart, Mat revealed the surprising modularity of the Chiron, proving that with enough determination, the unrepairable was repairable after all. His hands-on approach stripped away much of the mystique surrounding Bugatti's engineering and challenged its narrative of exclusivity. Millions of viewers witnessed the dismantling, exposing the previously hidden intricacies and fragilities of the hypercar. While Bugatti's CEO Mat Armstrong initially stayed silent, the pressure from Mat's rebuild and viral attention led to a rare public reaction. Rimac acknowledged the complexity of the car but also debunked some exaggerated repair cost rumors, marking an unusual moment where brand transparency met grassroots innovation. This fragile detente hinted at a new chapter in how ultra-luxury car makers handle independent repairers and enthusiasts. Mat's rebuild wasn't flawless or fast, but it was thorough and honest. The project became a manifesto for the right to repair within the highest echelons of automotive engineering, inspiring debates about ownership, control, and the future of vehicle maintenance. The Chiron project showed that even the most prestigious automakers could no longer ignore the growing voice of independent creators. This viral rebuild sent shockwaves through the community, forcing brands to reconsider how they guard their secrets and serve their customers. The outcome of Mat's bold endeavor signaled that the age of factory-only repairs might be giving way to a more open and collaborative future. As the machine roared back to life under Mat's care, it was clear that he hadn't just fixed a car. He had reset the rules of engagement for the luxury automotive world. The battle lines were drawn, but the war for control over these mechanical marvels was just beginning. The Ferrari connection. Mat Armstrong's disruptive reach wasn't limited to the exclusive halls of Bugatti. It swiftly extended into the realm of Ferrari, a mark steeped in tradition, mystique, and strict control over every aspect of ownership. Ferrari, much like Bugatti, had cultivated an ecosystem where repairs, parts, and even ownership came with tight restrictions. To see a YouTuber breezing past these barriers was nothing short of shocking to the Italian supercar establishment. Mat's decision to rebuild a Ferrari F430, a classic yet fiercely guarded model, was nothing less than an automotive statement. In 2023, Mat acquired an ex-rental Ferrari F430 with a gated manual gearbox for £60,000. A steal for a car of such pedigree, but one that came with its fair share of challenges. Just as with Bugatti, Ferrari refused to sell replacement parts to him unless he operated as an authorized technician. Ignoring the closed doors, Mat embarked on the painstaking process of rebuilding the engine alongside his mechanic and his father. This hands-on revival underscored his relentless spirit and appetite for challenges that most would avoid. Mat's rebuild didn't just stop at getting the Ferrari running again. With support from an automotive parts company, Scuderia, he managed to source authentic spares and installed a Capristo exhaust system. This upgrade not only restored but enhanced the car's ferocious character, allowing the F430 to roar back to life with a wild and unmistakable presence. Purists watched in disbelief as Mat bent traditional rules, reshaping one of Italy's finest machines through a mix of passion, ingenuity, and unconventional methods. This transformation was more than a mechanical project. It was a challenge to Ferrari's guarded repair culture. Mat's work was a vivid reminder that no manufacturer, no matter how prestigious, could hold a monopoly on craftsmanship and resourcefulness in the digital age. With millions following his journey online, the act of rebuilding a Ferrari outside the factory-sanctioned channels became a symbol of wider debates on ownership, accessibility, and control in the supercar world. Behind the scenes, whispers from sources close to the White House hinted at something extraordinary. Donald Trump, a figure known for his fondness for luxury vehicles, including a cherry-red Ferrari F430 Coupe, was reportedly taking note of Mat's rebellious approach. It's said that the president found inspiration in the mechanic's defiance of tradition and the luxury status quo. For Trump, whose life epitomized winning against the odds, Armstrong's story resonated as more than just a car restoration. It was a fight against gatekeeping in a realm previously reserved for elites. This presidential attention added a new layer of tension to Mat's growing influence. The luxury automotive world now faced scrutiny, not only from gearheads and enthusiasts, but from mainstream figures with the power to amplify the conversation. Trump's silent endorsement, or at least his mention, signaled that Mat's movement was crossing into unexpected arenas where politics, culture, and business intersect in profound ways. Mat's defiance, amplified by an online audience, and now whispers of presidential intrigue, deepened the unease among the top echelons of the industry. Ferrari and Bugatti were no longer just battling for market dominance. They were confronted by a grassroots force rewriting the rules of repair, access, and ownership. The underlying question wasn't just if Mat could fix these cars, but how much longer the old guard could maintain their iron grip on exclusivity. Transitioning from the striking defiance Mat showed toward Ferrari, the spotlight suddenly intensified when even a figure as polarizing as Donald Trump made his voice heard, revealing how far the ripple effects of a rogue mechanic had traveled. The presidential mention. It's not every day that a president of the United States enters the world of supercar restoration, but that is exactly what happened when Donald Trump reportedly took notice of Mat Armstrong. Known for his own interest in luxury cars, including his cherry-red Ferrari F43. Trump's attention added an unexpected political and cultural layer to Mat's battle with elite automotive brands. Suddenly, a YouTube mechanic challenging Ferrari and Bugatti was no longer just an online story. It became a symbol of disruption, ownership, and power. Trump's interest seemed to reflect more than casual fandom. Mat's refusal to accept the closed-off rules of luxury automakers echoed a familiar theme of defiance against powerful institutions. By rebuilding cars that manufacturers wanted tightly controlled, Mat positioned himself as an outsider, pushing into a guarded world of wealth, prestige, and exclusivity. That image resonated far beyond the garage. The mention also raised the stakes for brands like Ferrari and Bugatti. These companies are used to carefully managing their image, service networks, and customer experience. But when someone with Trump's profile acknowledges a figure like Mat, the conversation expands beyond car enthusiasts. It becomes part of a wider debate about control, access, and whether owners should have more freedom over the machines they buy. Mat's massive YouTube following made this moment even more powerful. His platform allowed him to teach, expose, and influence millions without needing approval from traditional automotive gatekeepers. The attention from a high-profile political figure only proved how much influence digital creators now hold. For Ferrari and Bugatti, this meant Mat could no longer be dismissed as just another online mechanic. His work had entered a space where media, politics, and luxury branding collided. Trump's mention did not simply amplify Mat's popularity. It showed that the fight over automotive control had grown into something larger. Ultimately, the presidential mention marked a turning point. Mat Armstrong's challenge to hyper-exclusive car culture had reached beyond repair shops and YouTube screens, signaling a future where independent creators could pressure even the most powerful luxury brands to adapt. Mat Armstrong blurred the line between independent craftsmanship and mega-brand power, reshaping the future of automotive ownership through ambition, celebrity, and politics. The future of automotive control. Mat Armstrong's climb from a BMX rider into a boundary-pushing mechanic has kind of sparked a debate bigger than any one single car. His work kind of messes with the old idea of control that luxury brands like Bugatti and Ferrari have kept over repairs, parts, and even ownership. For ages, these companies didn't just build reputations on performance, they also leaned hard into exclusivity, like deciding who gets to touch their machines and how much the owners have to pay. Mat's defiance feels like a sign that the future could be different, where know-how, ingenuity, and that independent skill can steer power back toward the car owners again. His story really connects pretty directly to the right to repair movement. even if it sounds a bit extreme at first. By showing that even these crazy, complex hypercars can get rebuilt outside the official dealer network, Mat kind of exposes how restrictive systems can keep innovation on a short leash and also crank up costs. He leans into alternative parts, 3D printing, and what feels like creative engineering, and it all points toward a new way of customization, where owners and independent builders get more room to breathe with their vehicles. But then again, this freedom is not totally free, and it raises a bunch of serious questions. Manufacturers claim that tighter control protects safety, quality, and warranty requirements. And with high-performance cars, even small compromises can mess with structural integrity or passenger safety, not in a theoretical way, but in a real kind of way. Mat's Frankenstein style rebuilds push right up against the boundaries of what independent repair can responsibly do without crossing the wrong line. At the same time, social media basically changed everything. Mat's millions of followers turn his repairs into like public teaching moments, and that breaks the usual secrecy surrounding elite car ownership. His momentum also pressures luxury brands to reconsider service, pricing, and even customer trust, because people can now see more than before. Ultimately, Mat Armstrong feels like a cultural pivot toward transparency and actual ownership. Whether brands adjust or just dig in, independent repair is building steam, and it's starting to look like the future of automotive control might not belong only to manufacturers anymore. Mat Armstrong's story isn't just about fixing cars. It's about breaking down barriers in the world of luxury automotive ownership. From BMX tracks to presidential attention, his journey challenges a status quo that's lasted for decades. If you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive rebellion, be sure to like and subscribe for more stories that shift the gears of the industry. Thanks for watching.